In his hometown of Waco, Texas, you can find a 9-foot-tall bronze statue of Doris Dorie Miller. A grandson of slaves, Miller enlisted in the Navy in 1939, just before his 20th birthday. For his actions on the morning of December 7, 1941 at Pearl Harbor, he would earn the Navy Cross for valor in combat.
Dorie Miller was on the USS West Virginia, a battleship. He had just finished, he was a mess attendant. He had just finished serving and he was sorting laundry when the first enemy attack hit his ship, the West Virginia.
His heroics were portrayed by Cuba Gooding Jr. in the movie Pearl Harbor. After attending to the ship's mortally wounded captain, Mervyn Binion, Dorie manned a .50 caliber anti-aircraft machine gun, a weapon he was not trained to use because he was black.
Now, what's extraordinary about that is, as a mess attendant, normally his battle station would have been to hand the ammunition up to the gunner because blacks weren't allowed to be gunners. But Dorie literally took the gun and started shooting. And there's lots of stories. Did he shoot something down? Did he not? We really don't know. No one is credited with a shoot down at Pearl Harbor. He had said in several interviews he thinks he might have hit one or two. And that's why that carries on into our time, that Dorie Miller shot down planes at Pearl Harbor. There are injured people and sailors trying to move about the ship. He assists them, and then once he's in the water, he continues to do that. So his heroism didn't stop with firing the gun, is the point I want to make. It continued throughout the events of that morning, that fateful morning.
When the Navy began to give out medals for bravery, Dorie was first only referred to as an unnamed Negro, but after a newspaper found out his identity, he was thrust into the national spotlight.
Dorie Miller's actions, though he didn't wake up that morning and decide to be a hero, contradicted the popular belief that blacks and whites could not serve together effectively and efficiently, that blacks could not perform in combat, that blacks were, some of the stereotypes, that blacks were afraid of water. It contrasted that quite a bit.
President Franklin Roosevelt would eventually recommend him for the Navy Cross, the Navy's third highest honor at the time. On May 27, 1942, aboard the USS Enterprise at Pearl Harbor, Admiral Chester Nimitz pinned the medal on Dorie, making him the first African American to receive the Navy Cross.
So he becomes a symbol of hope for the black race, and his images all over the place, in newspapers and magazines, and was used in recruitment ads and posters even well after World War II. Although he was 6'3" and 220, Dorie Miller was very soft-spoken, not boastful as you would think if you saw pictures of him. So that was a new role for him to play, and it was immediate, right? So for the Navy, he becomes the poster child for this is why African Americans should join the Navy. But at the same time, he's representing the fact that there are limited opportunities for blacks.
A write-in campaign was started to get Dorie admitted to the Naval Academy, but he was turned down because he exceeded the maximum age requirement.
Here's Dorie Miller, you talk about the weight of the world, kinda, finding himself in the midst of all of this, when all he wants to do is get to his next ship.
On November 24, 1943, he was serving on the escort carrier Liscum Bay when his ship was sunk by a Japanese submarine. 644 men died that day, including Dorie Miller. He was just 23 years old. His body was never recovered. But he has not been forgotten. Along with his statue in Waco, 4 schools in Texas are named after him, while a housing development near Pearl Harbor bears his name. It was also at Pearl Harbor he would officially receive an honor usually reserved for American presidents, as an aircraft carrier was named after him. The ceremony was held on January 20th, 2020, Martin Luther King Day.
It was his character, not his skin color or his uniform, that ordained that he would become something even more than that he would become an American hero. And it's for that reason that Doris Miller will sail into history from this point in place forward, adorning the most powerful American warship in the world for the better part of this century.
I often say we have these why not me moments. When Uncle Doris decided that he was going to step up to the machine gun and shoot, it was his why not me moments. And as we go through this life, we're all going to be confronted with why not me moments. Whether they be small or whether they affect, but each one you will be affecting someone if you take an action upon that moment. What I'm asking you all to do today is have those why not me moments. It sort of supersedes race, it supersedes gender, and all of the other categories that go along with that. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be here today to share this memorial, historical memory with you guys. Thank you.
The first aircraft carrier to be named after an African American is scheduled to be launched in 2028.